3 in the morning, and I'm sitting in my kitchen like some kind of insomniac detective, nursing lukewarm coffee and watching the clock tick away another sleepless night. The house feels different when Tessa's not here. Quieter but not peaceful. More like the calm before a storm that's been brewing for months. My name's Harlan, and I fix computers for a living. Not the glamorous kind of IT work you see in movies. I'm the guy who shows up when your small business server crashes and you're losing money by the hour. 43 years old, graying at the temples, and apparently invisible to my own wife. The front door opens with that familiar creak I've been meaning to fix for 2 years. Tessa's home from her late gym session, which seems to be happening more and more these days. Her footsteps are careful, deliberate, the walk of someone trying not to wake a sleeping husband. Too bad I'm wide awake. "You're up?" she says, appearing in the kitchen doorway. Her hair's messed up in that specific way that doesn't come from lifting weights, and her makeup is smudged around the edges. "Trip got canceled," I tell her, not looking up from my coffee. "Henderson's server went down again. Couldn't leave town." She freezes for just a second, so quick most people would miss it. But I've been married to this woman for 8 years. I notice things. "Oh, that's too bad." She's already moving toward the stairs. I'm exhausted. Sienna had me doing these new routines all evening. "Where's your gym bag?" Another pause. "Garage. I was so tired I just dropped it by the door." I nod, still not looking at her. "Where's your ring?" This time the pause is longer. I can feel her eyes on me, calculating. "It was bothering me during the workout. Must have left it in my locker." Now I do look up, and I see something that makes my stomach clench. There, just visible above the neckline of her tank top, is a small dark mark on her collarbone. Fresh. Definitely not from any exercise equipment I've ever seen. "I'm going to shower," she says quickly, and disappears upstairs. I sit there for another 10 minutes, listening to the water run, thinking about 8 years of marriage and how it all seems to be circling the drain. Then I remember something. Her phone. She always plugs it in on the kitchen counter when she gets home. It's sitting there now, screen dark. I shouldn't. I know I shouldn't. But my hand moves anyway, and I tap the screen. 3 missed messages from V-Flash on the lock screen. "Last night was incredible. Can't stop thinking about you. When can we do that again?" The phone slips from my fingers and clatters onto the counter. For a moment, I just stare at it, feeling something cold and hard settle in my chest. 8 years. 8 years of marriage, of building a life together, of me working 60-hour weeks while she found herself at the gym. 8 years of her criticisms, her subtle put-downs, her friends who look at me like I'm some kind of charity case she's too kind to abandon. The shower's still running upstairs. I pick up the phone again and memorize the number attached to V. Then I set it back exactly where she left it. When she comes downstairs 20 minutes later, hair wet and wearing that oversized t-shirt she sleeps in, I'm still sitting at the kitchen table. "You should get some sleep," she says, not quite meeting my eyes. Yeah, probably should. She starts to leave, then turns back. "Eric?" "About the trip. Maybe it's for the best. We could use some time together." I look at her, really look at her. The woman I married, the woman I thought I knew. The woman who apparently thinks I'm too stupid to notice when she's lying to my face. "You know what you said last week?" I ask. "About how other men would do anything for a chance with you?" She blinks, surprised. What?" "You said I was lucky to have you." "That other men would do anything for a chance." Her face hardens slightly. "I don't remember saying that." "I do. And I've been thinking about it." I stand up, dump my coffee in the sink. Maybe you're right. Maybe I should let them give it a shot. I head for the stairs, leaving her standing there in the kitchen. As I pass, I catch a whiff of cologne that definitely isn't mine. Upstairs, I lie in bed listening to her move around downstairs for another hour. When she finally comes to bed, she stays on her side, and I stay on mine, with about 3 feet of mattress and 8 years of lies between us. But I'm not sleeping. I'm planning. Because Eric Harlan might be a lot of things, middle-aged, underestimated, taken for granted, but stupid isn't one of them. I've spent my whole career solving problems, and I'm starting to think my marriage might just be another system that needs debugging. The next morning, Tessa's up early, getting ready for work at the gym where she's a personal trainer. I watch her from the bedroom doorway as she packs her bag, and I notice she's taking extra care with her appearance today. "Big day planned?" I ask. She glances at me in the mirror. "Just the usual. Sienna and I are working on some new client programs." Sienna, her best friend and fellow trainer, the one who's been filling Tessa's head with ideas about what she deserves for the past 2 years. That's nice. Building something together, something flickers across her face. Yeah, something like that. After she leaves, I go out to the garage to look for her gym bag. It's there, all right, tossed carelessly by the door just like she said. But when I unzip it, the contents tell a different story. Her workout clothes are barely wrinkled. The water bottle is still full. And at the bottom, underneath a towel that doesn't smell like sweat, I find something that makes my blood run cold. A hotel keycard. The Riverside Inn, about 10 miles from here. I pocket the card and head back inside. Time to do what I do best. Gather information, analyze the data, and figure out exactly what kind of system I'm dealing with. My phone buzzes. A text from my old friend Cal. "Beer tonight?" Missy's working, she always has the good gossip. I text back, "Definitely." I think I'm going to need it. Because if there's one thing I've learned in 20 years of IT work, it's that every system has vulnerabilities. You just have to know where to look. And I'm very good at looking. Cal's been my friend since high school, back when we were both skinny kids with big dreams and no clue how the world really worked. Now he's got a beer gut and works at Murphy's Tow Yard, and I've got gray hair and a cheating wife, but some things never change, like the fact that Cal can make me laugh even when everything else is falling apart. "You look like hell," he says when I walk into Flanagan's, the kind of neighborhood bar that hasn't changed its decor since 1987 and doesn't plan to start now. Feel worse. I slide onto the bar stool next to him. "Missy around?" "Right here, honey." Missy appears behind the bar like she always does, with that knowing smile that says she's already heard whatever gossip you're about to share. She's been bartending at Flanagan's for 15 years, and in a neighborhood like ours, that makes her better than the FBI when it comes to intelligence gathering. "The usual?" she asks, already reaching for a beer. "Make it a double." Cal raises an eyebrow. "That bad?" I take a long pull of beer and consider how much to tell them. These are my people, the ones who knew me before I got married, before I started trying to be the husband Tessa wanted, instead of the man I actually am. "Tessa's cheating on me." Cal chokes on his beer. Missy just nods like she's been waiting for me to figure it out. "Honey, I hate to say I told you so." Missy starts, then don't. I drain half my beer in one go. "How long have you known?" "Couple months." Sienna's been in here bragging about how Tessa's gonna trade up, talking about some guy named Vince who buys her expensive workout gear and protein shakes. Missy leans against the bar. Real prince, according to her. Vince. V. The pieces are starting to fit together. "You know anything else about this guy?" Sienna says he's some kind of silent partner at that fancy gym where they work. Drives a Tesla, posts workout videos on Instagram, thinks he's God's gift to womankind. Missy refills my beer without being asked. "The kind of guy who uses hair product and calls everyone bro." Cal's been quiet through this whole exchange, but now he leans forward. "What are you thinking, Eric?" "I'm thinking about a lot of things. About 8 years of marriage. About how Tessa's been coming home later and later, how she's been critical of everything I do, how her friends look at me like I'm some kind of burden she's too nice to drop. I'm thinking about that hotel keycard in my pocket and the messages on her phone, and the way she couldn't meet my eyes this morning. But mostly, I'm thinking about what she said last week during our fight about money. You're lucky to have me, Eric. Other men would do anything for a chance with someone like me. I'm thinking, I tell Cal, that maybe it's time to let them give it a shot. The next few days, I do what I do best. I gather data. It's amazing what you can learn about someone when you know where to look and you have the technical skills to do it properly. First, the hotel keycard. A quick call to the Riverside Inn, pretending to be a confused guest who found a key card in his car, gets me the information I need. The room was registered to Vincent Mallory for 3 nights last week. The same 3 nights Tessa claimed she was working late. Next, I do some research on Vincent Mallory. Social media makes it easy. The guy's practically documenting his entire life online. Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, all of it public because he's trying to build his brand as a fitness influencer. He's everything Missy said he'd be. 31 years old, 6'2", the kind of manufactured good looks that come from expensive haircuts and professional photography. His bio says he's a fitness entrepreneur and lifestyle coach, which as far as I can tell means he inherited money and bought into a gym. But here's the thing about social media. People always share more than they mean to. Like the fact that he posts his location constantly, or that he has a habit of going live on Instagram at the same times Tessa claims to be working late. I start taking screenshots, building a timeline. It's not hard when both of them are practically broadcasting their affair to the world. The breakthrough comes when I remember that Tessa and I share a cloud storage account. She set it up years ago for sharing photos, and I don't think she remembers I have access to it. I shouldn't look. I know I shouldn't. But at 3 a.m, sitting in my kitchen with another cup of coffee, I log in anyway. What I find there makes me wish I hadn't. Photos. Dozens of them. Tessa and Vince at restaurants I can't afford. Tessa wearing lingerie I've never seen. Tessa in hotel rooms in his apartment, in places that definitely aren't the gym. And videos. I close those after about 10 seconds, but it's too late. You can't unsee some things. I sit there for a long time, staring at the laptop screen, feeling something cold and hard crystallizing in my chest. It's not just anger, though there's plenty of that. It's something more calculated, more purposeful. For 8 years, I've been the understanding husband, the one who doesn't ask questions when she comes home late, the one who smiles and nods when her friends make jokes about trading up, the one who works overtime to pay for her gym membership and her clothes and her girls' nights out that apparently aren't just with the girls. But understanding only gets you so far, and I'm done being understanding. I start making copies of everything, screenshots, downloaded photos, saved videos, all of it organized and cataloged with the same attention to detail I'd use for any other IT project. Because this is a project now, and like any good project, it needs proper planning. The next morning, Tessa's getting ready for work when I walk into the bedroom. "Sleep okay?" she asks, not looking at me. Like a baby. I watch her pack her gym bag, the same routine she's been doing for months, except now I know what's really in there. Big day planned? Just training clients. Sienna and I might grab dinner after. That's nice. You two have been spending a lot of time together lately. She glances at me in the mirror, and for a second I see something flicker across her face. Guilt, maybe. Or just annoyance that I'm paying attention. We're friends, Eric. Friends spend time together. Of course they do. I smile at her reflection. I was thinking maybe we should spend more time together too. Maybe I should come by the gym sometime. Meet this Vince guy Sienna's always talking about. The mascara wand freezes halfway to her lashes. What? Vince. Sienna mentioned him the other night when you had her over. Said he's some kind of partner at the gym. Sounds like an interesting guy. Tessa's face goes very carefully blank. I don't really know him that well. No? That's too bad. I'd love to meet him. Maybe we could all grab dinner sometime. You, me, him, Sienna. Make it a double date. She finishes with her mascara and turns around. Why are you being weird? Weird how? I don't know, different, like you're watching me or something. I shrug. Maybe I'm just paying more attention. You said I should, remember? Last week when we fought about money, you said I take you for granted. I didn't say that. You said other men would do anything for a chance with you. That I was lucky to have you. I stepped closer. So I've been thinking maybe I should pay more attention to what I have before someone else decides to give it a shot. For just a moment, something like panic flickers in her eyes. Then it's gone, replaced by that familiar look of irritation. You're being paranoid, Eric. Am I? She pushes past me toward the door. I'm going to be late. Have a good day at work, I call after her. Tell Vince I said hi. The front door slams hard enough to rattle the windows. I wait until her car disappears down the street, then I get to work. Because if there's one thing I've learned in my career, it's that information is power. And I'm just getting started gathering information. Time to see what other vulnerabilities this system has. The thing about being married to someone for 8 years is that you learn their patterns. Tessa thinks she's being careful, but she's not nearly as clever as she believes. Every Tuesday and Thursday, she stays late at the gym for inventory and client planning. Every Saturday, she has girls' night with Sienna. And every other weekend, she visits her sister in Albany, except I called her sister last month, and she hasn't seen Tessa in 6 months. So when Tessa announces she's having another girls' night this Saturday, I'm ready. Sounds fun, I tell her over breakfast. Where are you going? Just that new wine bar downtown. Sienna wants to try their tapas menu. The one on 4th Street? Yeah, that's the one. I nod and go back to my coffee. The wine bar on 4th Street closed 3 weeks ago. I know because I fixed their point-of-sale system right before they went out of business. Have fun, I tell her. I'll probably just stay in, watch the game. She kisses my cheek, a quick, perfunctory peck that feels more like habit than affection. Don't wait up. After she leaves for work, I call Cal. Feel like doing me a favor tonight? Depends. Does it involve anything that'll get me arrested? Nothing illegal. I just need a wingman for a little reconnaissance mission. There's a pause. This about Tessa? Yeah. I'm in. What do you need? Cal picks me up at 7 in his beat-up Ford pickup. We've been friends long enough that he doesn't ask too many questions, just hands me a beer and points the truck toward downtown. So, what's the plan? He asks as we drive. GPS tracker says she's at the Riverside Inn, same place she's been going every Saturday for the past month. And we're going there because I want to see what I'm dealing with. Know your enemy, right? The Riverside Inn is one of those boutique hotels that tries too hard to be trendy. All exposed brick and Edison bulbs, the kind of place that charges $30 for a cocktail and calls it artisanal. We park across the street and wait. It doesn't take long. At 7:30, Tessa's car pulls into the valet area. She gets out wearing a dress I've never seen before. Black, expensive looking. Definitely not something you'd wear to girls' night at a wine bar. 5 minutes later, a silver Tesla pulls up behind her. The guy who gets out is exactly what I expected from his social media photos, except somehow more obnoxious in person. Tall, perfectly styled hair, wearing a suit that probably costs more than I make in a month. Vincent Mallory, in the flesh. I watch him walk up to my wife, put his hand on the small of her back, and guide her toward the hotel entrance. The gesture is casual, familiar, possessive. Jesus, Cal mutters. I'm sorry, man. Don't be. This is good. I needed to see it. Good how? I take out my phone and snap a few photos through the windshield. The lighting isn't great, but it's clear enough to see what's happening. Because now I know exactly what I'm dealing with. We sit there for another hour, but they don't come back out. Eventually, Cal starts the engine. You want to go get drunk? He asks. Actually, yeah. But first, I want to make a stop. The Tesla is parked in the hotel lot, gleaming under the security lights like it's posing for a magazine ad. I walk around it slowly, taking note of the custom rims, the personalized license plate that reads FITKING, the gym stickers plastered across the back window. "What are you doing?" Cal asks nervously. "Just looking." I pull out my phone and take a few more photos. You know what this car tells me about him? That he's compensating for something? That he cares more about image than substance. Look at this thing. It's pristine. Not a scratch on it. This is a guy who's never had to fight for anything in his life. I walk back to Cal's truck, already planning my next move. Now we can get drunk. Monday morning, I'm in my workshop, the converted garage where I do most of my IT work, when Mrs. Doran from next door pokes her head over the fence. "Eric, honey, you got a minute?" Mrs. Doran is 73 years old and knows everything that happens in a 6-block radius. She's also been suspicious of Tessa since day one, though she's too polite to say so directly. "What's up, Mrs. D?" I don't want to be nosy, but I couldn't help noticing Tessa's been keeping some unusual hours lately. I look up from the laptop I'm repairing. Unusual how? Well, Saturday night, she came home around 2 in the morning. And last Tuesday, she left again around 11, said she forgot something at work. But she was all dressed up, like she was going somewhere fancy. Mrs. Doran has the decency to look embarrassed about her nosiness, but not enough to stop talking. And yesterday morning there was a silver car parked down the block, fancy one. The driver was just sitting there watching the house, left right after Tessa went to work. My hand's still on the keyboard. Silver car? Tesla, I think. You know, one of those electric ones. Had some kind of personalized plate. Fitking. He's watching my house now, getting bolder. "Thanks for letting me know, Mrs. D. I appreciate you keeping an eye on things." She nods and disappears back over the fence, but I can tell she's got more to say. Mrs. Doran always has more to say. That afternoon, I'm at Flanagan's having lunch, when Missy slides a beer across the bar without being asked. "You look like you need this." "That obvious?" "Honey, I've been bartending for 15 years. I can spot marital problems from 3 blocks away." She leans against the bar. "Want to talk about it?" I consider how much to tell her. Missy's good people, but she's also the neighborhood communication hub. Anything I say to her will be common knowledge by dinner time. On the other hand, maybe that's not such a bad thing. "Tessa's having an affair." Missy doesn't look surprised. "With the gym guy? Vince? You knew?" "Suspected. Sienna's been in here bragging about how her friend's gonna upgrade to someone who appreciates her. Real classy, right?" Missy refills my beer. "What are you gonna do about it?" "I'm working on it." "Good. That woman's been walking all over you for years. About time you stood up for yourself." "You really think so?" "Eric, honey, you're a good man. You work hard, you're loyal, you've got a sense of humor. Any woman would be lucky to have you." She pauses. "But Tessa, she's always been more interested in what people can do for her than who they actually are." I drink my beer and think about that. About 8 years of trying to be the man Tessa wanted instead of the man I am. About working overtime to pay for her gym membership while she used it to meet other men. About all the times her friends made jokes about me being lucky to have her, while she just smiled and didn't disagree. "You know what she told me last week?" I ask Missy. "She said other men would do anything for a chance with her. That I should be grateful." Missy's face hardens. "She said that? Word for word? Well then," Missy straightens up, and I can see the wheels turning in her head. "Sounds like maybe it's time to let them have their chance." That's what I was thinking. "And Eric? When you're ready to show her what she's losing, you let me know. I've got some ideas about how to make that happen." I finish my beer and leave a 20 on the bar. I'll keep that in mind. Walking home, I think about what Missy said, about standing up for myself, about being a good man who deserves better. She's right. I do deserve better. And I'm starting to think it's time Tessa learned what better looks like. That night, Tessa comes home from work acting strange, nervous. She keeps glancing at me like she's waiting for something. "Everything okay?" I ask. "Fine. Just tired." But she's not acting tired. She's acting guilty, like someone who's been caught but doesn't know how much the other person knows. "I was thinking," I tell her over dinner, "maybe we should take a vacation. Get away somewhere, just the two of us." She nearly chokes on her salad. "A vacation?" "Yeah, we haven't done that in years. Maybe go somewhere tropical. Disconnect from work, from the gym, from everything. Just focus on us." I can't take time off right now. We're really busy at the gym. "I'm sure Sienna could cover for you." "It's not that simple." I nod like I understand. "Of course not." "I forgot how important your work is." Something flickers across her face. "What's that supposed to mean?" "Nothing. Just that you're always telling me how much they need you there. How you can't miss a day because everything falls apart without you." "They do need me. I'm sure they do. Especially Vince, right?" The fork freezes halfway to her mouth. "What?" "Vince. The partner at the gym. Sienna mentioned he relies on you a lot for the business side of things." Tessa sets down her fork very carefully. "I don't know what Sienna told you, but..." "She didn't tell me anything specific. Just that you two work closely together on client programs and inventory management." I smile at her. "Sounds like a good working relationship." "It is. Purely professional. Of course." I go back to my dinner. "I'd still like to meet him sometime. Maybe we could have them over for dinner. You, me, Vince, and whoever he's dating." "He's not dating anyone right now." The words are out of her mouth before she can stop them. I look up, and she realizes what she just said. "I mean, I don't think he is." "I don't really know much about his personal life." "No? That's too bad. A successful guy like that, you'd think he'd have women lining up." Tessa pushes her salad around her plate. "Can we talk about something else?" "Sure. How was girls' night on Saturday?" "You never told me about the tapas." "They were fine." "At the wine bar on 4th Street?" "Yeah." I nod. "That's funny. I drove by there yesterday, and it looked like they were closed. Big for lease sign in the window." Tessa goes very still. Maybe we went somewhere else." I don't really remember." "You don't remember where you had dinner 2 days ago?" "I had a lot to drink." "Right." I stand up and clear my plate. "Well, I'm sure it was fun wherever you went." I leave her sitting at the table, staring at her half-eaten salad, and go upstairs to my computer. Time for Phase 2. The community block party happens every year in Riverside Park, right across from the elementary school. It's one of those neighborhood traditions that brings everyone together. Families, couples, singles, kids running around with face paint while their parents drink beer from red Solo cups and pretend to enjoy the local band's cover of Sweet Caroline. This year, it's also going to be the perfect venue for a little public education. I spend the week leading up to the party making preparations. Nothing illegal, nothing that can't be explained as coincidence or bad luck. Just a series of small actions that will create maximum impact. First, I create a fake social media account using photos from a stock photography site. Then, I start following Vince's various profiles, liking his posts, building a digital presence that looks like an interested potential client. Next, I do some research into the gym's business practices. It turns out Vincent Mallory isn't just a silent partner. He's been skimming client information to build his own personal training business on the side. A clear violation of his partnership agreement, and definitely something the other owners would want to know about. I document everything, screenshot the evidence, and compile it into a neat little package. Then I create an anonymous email account and draft a message to the gym's board of directors. I don't send it yet. Timing is everything. The night before the block party, Tessa announces she's going to Sienna's to help plan some new workout routines. On a Friday night? I ask. We're launching a new program next week. There's a lot to prepare. Sounds important. Maybe I should come with you. Help out. She looks genuinely panicked for a second. No, that's okay. It's just girl stuff. Boring. If you say so. What time will you be home? Late. Don't wait up. After she leaves, I drive to Sienna's apartment complex and park where I can see the entrance. Tessa's car isn't there, neither is Sienna's. But I know where they are. The GPS tracker I planted in Tessa's car shows she's at the Riverside Inn again. Same room, same routine. The only difference is that this time, I'm not just watching. This time, I'm recording. I park across the street with a clear view of the hotel entrance and wait. At 9:15, Tessa and Vince come out together, laughing about something. They're not trying to hide anymore, walking hand in hand, completely comfortable in public. I take photos with my phone, then switch to video as they get into his Tesla. Clear shots of both their faces, timestamp visible, no question about what's happening. They drive to a trendy restaurant downtown, the kind of place with valet parking and a 3-week waiting list for reservations. I follow at a distance and park where I can see them through the window. They're sitting at a corner table, intimate and cozy. Vince has his hand on hers across the table. Tessa's laughing at something he said, touching his arm, playing with her hair the way she used to do with me when we were dating. I take more photos, more video, building a comprehensive record of their affair. But the real prize comes when they leave the restaurant. They're walking to his car when Vince suddenly grabs Tessa and kisses her right there on the sidewalk. Not a quick peck, a full, passionate kiss that leaves no doubt about the nature of their relationship. I get it all on video. Clear, undeniable evidence that my wife is cheating on me with a man who thinks he's God's gift to womankind. Saturday morning, the day of the block party, I'm up early setting up my booth. Every year I volunteer to run the tech support station, helping people with their phones, fixing tablets, basically being the neighborhood IT guy. It's always popular, especially with the older residents who can't figure out their smartphones. This year, I've got something special planned. Eric! Mrs. Doran waves at me from across the park. You need help setting up? I'm good, thanks. Should be a fun day. Is Tessa coming? She'll be here later. Had to work this morning. Mrs. Doran nods, but I can see the skepticism in her eyes. She knows something's up. She's just too polite to say so directly. By noon, the party is in full swing. Kids are running around, adults are drinking beer and catching up on gossip, and the local band is massacring classic rock songs with enthusiasm, if not skill. That's when Tessa arrives. She's not alone. Sienna's with her, and they're both dressed like they're going to a nightclub instead of a neighborhood block party. Short skirts, low-cut tops, full makeup. They stick out like sore thumbs among the families in shorts and t-shirts. But that's not what catches everyone's attention. What catches everyone's attention is the silver Tesla that pulls up 5 minutes later. Vince gets out like he's stepping onto a red carpet, all perfectly styled hair and designer clothes. He's wearing sunglasses even though it's cloudy, and he's got that swagger that screams, "I'm better than everyone here." I watch from my booth as he walks over to Tessa and Sienna. He doesn't try to hide his familiarity with my wife, puts his arm around her waist, kisses her cheek, acts like they're a couple. The whispers start immediately. Is that Tessa's husband? No, Eric's over there at the tech booth. Then who's the guy with his arm around her? I don't know, but he's definitely not from the neighborhood. Mrs. Doran appears at my booth, her face flushed with indignation. Eric, honey, do you see what's happening over there? I see it. Are you going to do something about it? I look at her, then at the crowd of neighbors who are all pretending not to stare at my wife and her boyfriend making a public spectacle of themselves. Actually, Mrs. D, I think I am. The community center has a PA system for announcements, and every year they do a little talent show where people can get up and sing karaoke or tell jokes. It's always popular, especially after people have had a few beers. I walk over to where they're setting up the microphone. Mind if I go first? I ask the organizer. I've got something I'd like to share with everyone. Sure, Eric. What are you going to do? Just a little story about learning to share. I take the microphone and look out at the crowd. Maybe 100 people, all of them neighbors I've known for years. People who've watched me and Tessa together, who've been to our barbecues and helped us move furniture and borrowed tools from my garage. People who deserve to know the truth. Hi, everyone. For those who don't know me, I'm Eric Harlan. I live over on Maple Street with my wife, Tessa. I pause and look directly at Tessa. She's gone pale, but she can't leave without making an even bigger scene. I wanted to share something I learned recently about the importance of sharing. See, my wife taught me that I shouldn't be selfish, that other people might want a chance at what I have. The crowd is listening now, sensing drama. She told me I was lucky to have her, that other men would do anything for a chance with someone like her. And you know what? She was right. I click a button on my phone, and the video I took last night starts playing on the community center's big screen TV. Crystal clear footage of Tessa and Vince kissing on the sidewalk outside the restaurant. The crowd gasps. Someone drops a beer bottle. So I decided to let them give it a shot. Tessa's face goes from pale to red. She starts pushing through the crowd toward me, but Vince grabs her arm, trying to get her to leave quietly. Too late for that. And you know what I discovered? Sharing isn't just about being generous. Sometimes it's about letting people show you who they really are. I click another button. Now the screen shows screenshots of Vince's business violations, his theft of client information, his breach of partnership agreements. Take Vincent Mallory here, for example. I point at Vince, who's now trying to hide behind his sunglasses. Successful businessman, fitness influencer, the kind of guy who drives a Tesla with vanity plates. The crowd turns to look at Vince. He's gone white under his tan. But when you look a little deeper, you find out he's been stealing from his business partners, skimming client lists to build his own side business. The kind of guy who thinks rules don't apply to him. Eric, stop! Tessa's voice carries across the crowd. Just stop! Stop what? Sharing? But you love sharing, Tessa. You've been sharing yourself with Vince for months now. The crowd is dead silent except for a few gasps and whispers. In hotel rooms, in his apartment, in places that definitely aren't the gym where you claim to be working late. I click the phone again. More photos, more evidence, all displayed for everyone to see. The thing is, I'm not even angry anymore. Because you were right. I was lucky to have you, past tense. But now I get to find out what it's like to be lucky without you. Vince finally finds his voice. You can't do this, man. This is harassment. Harassment? I'm just sharing information. Publicly available information, posted on social media, documented with photos and videos, the same way you two have been sharing yourselves. Eric, Tessa's voice is shaking now. Please, can we talk about this privately? Privately? Like the way you handled your affair privately? Like the way you lied to my face for months privately? I shake my head. No, I think public is better. More honest. I look out at the crowd, my neighbors, my friends, people who've known us both for years. See, I spent 8 years trying to be the husband she wanted instead of the man I am. Working overtime to pay for her gym membership while she used it to meet other men. Listening to her friends make jokes about me being lucky to have her while she smiled and didn't disagree. Mrs. Doran is nodding vigorously. Several other neighbors are looking at Tessa with disgust. But you know what? I am lucky. Lucky to find out who she really is before I wasted any more years on someone who thinks loyalty is optional and marriage vows are suggestions. I hand the microphone back to the organizer and walk toward Tessa and Vince. The crowd parts like the Red Sea. So congratulations, I tell them. You got your shot. Hope it was worth it. Vince tries to step forward, chest puffed out like he's going to intimidate me. You think you're tough, old man? I look at him. Really look at him. 6'2" of manufactured muscle and expensive clothes, trying to stare down a guy who spent his 20s boxing in neighborhood gyms and his 40s fixing other people's problems. I think you're about to find out. He swings first, a clumsy, telegraphed right hook that I see coming from a mile away. I step aside and sweep his legs, and he goes down hard on the grass in front of 100 neighbors. That's for thinking you could take my life and I wouldn't fight back. He tries to get up, and I put my hand on his chest. Not hard, just firm enough to keep him down. Stay down, pretty boy. You're embarrassing yourself. The crowd is cheering now. Someone yells, "That's how you do it, Eric." Mrs. Doran is applauding. Tessa is crying, but I don't think it's from sadness. I think it's from rage and humiliation. "I hope you're happy," she says. "You know what?" I think I am. I walk away, leaving them both there in front of everyone. Behind me, I can hear the crowd starting to gossip, the story already spreading like wildfire through the neighborhood. By tomorrow, everyone in a 10-block radius will know exactly what kind of people Tessa and Vince really are, and I'm just getting started. The fallout from the block party spreads through the neighborhood like wildfire. By Sunday morning, my phone is buzzing with calls and texts from people I haven't heard from in months. Some offering support, others just wanting the gossip firsthand. But the real fireworks start Monday morning. I'm in my workshop when Cal shows up with coffee and donuts, grinning like he just won the lottery. "Dude, you are officially a neighborhood legend," he says, setting the coffee on my workbench. "Mrs. Patterson stopped me at the grocery store to tell me you're the bravest man she's ever met." Mrs. Patterson is 86 years old and thinks I'm her grandson half the time. Doesn't matter. The whole neighborhood's talking about it. Missy says business at Flanagan's has doubled because everyone wants to come in and discuss what happened. I take a sip of coffee and go back to the laptop I'm repairing. What about Tessa? Haven't seen her. But Sienna came into the bar last night, drunk off her ass, crying about how you ruined everything and how Tessa's devastated. Devastated that she got caught. That's what Missy told her. Right before she cut her off and told her to find somewhere else to drink. My phone buzzes with a text message. Unknown number. "We need to talk. -V. I show it to Cal. Looks like Prince Charming wants a conversation. You gonna meet him? Why not? Should be interesting. I text back. Riverside Park. 1 hour. Riverside Park is where the block party happened, but on a Monday morning it's empty except for a few joggers and dog walkers. I get there early and wait on a bench near the playground, watching the river flow past while I think about everything that's led to this moment. Vince shows up right on time, driving the Tesla with the vanity plates. He parks and walks over, trying to look intimidating in his designer workout gear and sunglasses. "You think you're real smart, don't you?" he says, standing over me with his arms crossed. I don't get up from the bench. "Smart enough. You humiliated her in front of everyone, in front of the whole neighborhood. She humiliated herself. I just provided the documentation." He starts pacing back and forth in front of the bench, agitated. "You don't understand what you've done. Tessa's career is ruined. The gym fired her because of your little stunt. Actually, the gym fired her because you were stealing client information and she was helping you. The affair was just the cherry on top. That stops him cold." "What are you talking about?" I pull out my phone and show him the email confirmation I received this morning. "The gym's board of directors got an anonymous tip about your business practices. Seems they take theft pretty seriously." His face goes white under the fake tan. "Careful now. We're in public. You think this is over? You think you can just destroy people's lives and walk away?" I stand up then, and I can see him tense. He's got 4 inches on me and probably 30 pounds, but something in my expression makes him take a step back. "I didn't destroy anything, Vince. You did that all by yourself when you decided to sleep with another man's wife and steal from your business partners. She was going to leave you anyway. We're in love." "Love?" I laugh, and it's not a nice sound. You want to know what love is? Love is working 60-hour weeks to pay for someone else's dreams. Love is staying loyal even when they treat you like garbage. Love is giving someone 8 years of your life and getting lies in return. I stepped closer to him. What you two have isn't love, it's convenience. She wanted someone to make her feel special, and you wanted someone easy to impress. But now that it's not a secret anymore, now that there are consequences, let's see how long your love lasts. You're wrong. Am I? Where is she right now, Vince? Why isn't she here with you, facing this together? He doesn't answer because we both know the truth. Tessa's probably at home, figuring out how to spin this to minimize the damage to herself. That's what she does, always has. Here's what's going to happen, I tell him. You're going to stay away from my house, away from my neighborhood, and away from me. You're going to deal with your business problems and your reputation problems and whatever other problems you've created for yourself. And if I don't? I smile at him, and I can see it makes him nervous. Then you'll find out that embarrassing you at a block party was just the opening act. He tries to stare me down for a few seconds, but his heart's not in it. Finally, he turns and walks back to his car, muttering something under his breath that I don't catch and don't care about. I watch him drive away, then sit back down on the bench and call Cal. "How'd it go?" he asks. About like you'd expect. He's scared, angry, and looking for someone to blame besides himself. What about Tessa? Haven't heard from her. But I'm sure I will. I'm right. She calls that afternoon while I'm working. "Eric, can we talk?" Her voice sounds different. Smaller. Less confident than usual. "We're talking now." "I mean, in person, please. I'm at Starbucks on 5th Street. Can you meet me here?" I consider it. Part of me wants to just hang up, let her figure out her own problems. But there are things that need to be said, and better to do it in public where she can't make a scene. "Give me 20 minutes. The Starbucks is busy with the afternoon crowd, which is probably why she chose it. Harder to have a dramatic confrontation when you're surrounded by people trying to work on their laptops. She's sitting at a corner table, looking like she hasn't slept. Her hair's pulled back in a messy ponytail, and she's not wearing makeup. For the first time in years, she looks her age. "Thank you for coming," she says when I sit down. "What do you want, Tessa?" "I want to explain." "Explain what?" "How you've been cheating on me for months. How you lied to my face every single day. How you made me feel like I was crazy for noticing something was wrong." She flinches. "It wasn't supposed to happen like this." "How was it supposed to happen?" "You were going to keep lying until you figured out how to leave me for someone with more money?" "It's not about money." "No? Then what's it about?" She's quiet for a long moment, staring at her coffee cup. "You don't understand what it's like being married to someone who doesn't see you anymore." "I saw you. I saw you every day." "No, you saw what you wanted to see. The wife who had dinner ready when you got home from work. The wife who kept the house clean and didn't complain when you spent weekends in your workshop instead of with me. So you decided to find someone who would pay attention to you. Vince makes me feel alive again, like I'm worth something." I stare at her across the table, this woman I spent 8 years of my life with, and I realize I'm looking at a stranger. "You were worth something, Tessa. You were worth everything to me. But that wasn't enough, was it? You needed someone to worship you, to treat you like you were doing them a favor just by existing. That's not fair." "Fair? You want to talk about fair?" I lean forward. "Fair would have been talking to me about how you felt instead of sneaking around behind my back. Fair would have been asking for a divorce before you started sleeping with someone else. Fair would have been treating me with enough respect to tell me the truth." She's crying now, but I don't feel sorry for her. I used to. For years, I made excuses for her behavior, tried to understand her perspective, bent over backward to make her happy. I'm done with that. "I made mistakes," she says. "But what you did at the block party, that was cruel, Eric. You destroyed my reputation, my career, everything I worked for. I told the truth. If that destroyed your reputation, maybe your reputation wasn't worth preserving. Everyone in the neighborhood thinks I'm a terrible person. Are you? The question hangs in the air between us. She opens her mouth to answer, then closes it again. I don't know, she finally whispers. It's the first honest thing she's said to me in months. Well, that's something, I guess. I stand up. I'm filing for divorce, Tessa. You can have whatever lawyer you want. Fight for whatever you think you deserve. But I'm done pretending this marriage means anything to either of us. Eric, wait. I turn back to her. What about us? What about 8 years together? Doesn't that mean anything? I think about it. About the good times we had, the dreams we shared, the life we built together before it all fell apart. It meant everything to me, I tell her. That's why this hurts so much. But you threw it away for someone who makes you feel special for a few hours at a time. So no, I don't think it means anything to you at all. I walk out of the Starbucks and don't look back. 3 weeks later, I'm at Flanagan's celebrating. The divorce papers were served this morning. Vince's gym partnership has been officially terminated, and I just finished the biggest IT contract of my career. So what's next? Cal asks, raising his beer. I don't know. Maybe I'll travel. Maybe I'll start dating again. Maybe I'll just enjoy being able to come home to my own house without wondering what lies I'm going to hear. Missy leans across the bar. You know, my cousin Sarah just moved back to town. She's a teacher, divorced, really sweet. I could introduce you. Maybe. But not yet. I think I need some time to figure out who I am when I'm not trying to be someone else's idea of a perfect husband. Fair enough. She refills my beer. But when you're ready, you let me know. There are plenty of women out there who would appreciate a good man. A good man who just publicly humiliated his cheating wife. A good man who stood up for himself when he deserved better. Cal raises his beer again. Here's to giving them their shot and coming out on top. We drink to that. Later that night, I'm sitting in my kitchen, the same kitchen where this whole thing started 3 months ago, reading a book and enjoying the quiet. No wondering where my wife is, no listening for lies, no trying to pretend everything's fine when it's not. Just peace. My phone buzzes with a text from an unknown number. For a second, I think it might be Vince again, but when I open it, it's from Tessa. I'm sorry. For everything. You deserved better. I stare at the message for a long time, then delete it without responding. She's right. I did deserve better. And now I'm going to find out what better looks like. There 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 looks like.